Jafffa friends and followers, welcome to another video on Jafffa Adventures. This is the third installment of our videos for remote area camping within striking distance of the southeast corner of Queensland. In today's episode, we're going to leave the bustling metropolis of Brisbane and we're going to drive the 137 odd kilometers to Warwick and camp outside of Warwick on the Leslie Dam here in a small area called the Rocklands Reserve. Let's just hit pause here for a second. This video was shot back in January of this year before the zombie apocalypse, so no infections were spread in the making of this video. So just to help you get your bearings, off in the distance here we've got Leslie Dam, and this is Sandy Creek that runs into Leslie Dam. Now the Rocklands Reserve is this entire bush section that runs along the side of Sandy Creek. There are no facilities out there, and you've got to be completely self-sufficient when you're camping. Now I have heard that the Warwickshire was talking about closing this down for campers, so you may just want to check that out before you head out. But when I was out there, it was fantastic, and I had the entire reserve to myself. Camp from the Rocklands Reserve and headed south about 86 odd kilometers to the Nundubamere Falls camping area at this very tip of Sundown National Park. Now this particular camping area is not well used, but it's quite remote and there's not a lot of people that actually use that section of Sundown. When we were camped there, there was not another soul there. Very pretty. We're at Numbnut Falls. With no falls.
I don't know what it is.
None. Here we are at Nundubamere Falls, and there ain't no falls. Massive drought on at the moment. But the pool's still quite nice. It's not stagnant, it's quite clean.
This puddle is not.
Well, I bet you there's some fishies in there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
You can see the track in on the right hand side, and then the camp just below us, which has enough spaces for maybe 4, maximum 5 camps, but quite nice. Once we left the Nundubamere Not So Folly Falls, the following morning we drove back to the main road to the Cunningham Highway, headed south through Ballandine, and then into the main section of Sundown National Park. The park gate here to the Burrows Water Camp here is a reasonably bumpy track. It'll probably take you a couple of hours in low range. It's nothing too difficult, but it's just bumpy and quite rocky. So the park gate is located here. This is Red Rock Gorge, which has gotten a pretty amazing lookout, which I'd recommend hitting. This is Reedy Creek Waterhole. This is Burrows Waterhole, which are the two main camps in Sundown. And this section here is called the Rats Castle Loop. Now this section is pretty extreme from a four-wheel drive point of view, especially getting down into it. This small section here is very steep, very rocky, and I had both diff locks engaged to get down and up that section. I ended up camping right on the extreme of the Rat's Castle loop. This section along here is pretty typical of the countryside as you approach the Reedy Waterhole and the Burrows camp area. These large cleared areas that you see are from the pastoralists back in the 1800s, and this area here was used for grazing for very, very fine wool production. Most of the trees that you see in the foreground are cypress trees, which make an amazing campfire. They give off just an absolutely beautiful aroma. The peaks that you see off in the distance, they're quite sizable. We're talking 1,000 meters plus, which is pretty decent for the area. Also back in the 1800s, the late 1800s, was a lot of mining in the area, specifically for tin, copper, and arsenic. And what you'll see as you drive in is you go past a lot of these mines, and you'll see warning signs all over the place at abandoned mine shafts. The Burrows Waterhole you can see off in the distance on the left-hand side, and from there we're going to hook left and head down into the Rat's Castle loop. So here I am camped on the Hellhole Waterhole, which is right on the extreme end of the Rat's Castle loop before it hooks away from the Severn River. Now the Hellhole Waterhole, of course, is part of the Severn River, and there's no facility here whatsoever. So again, you need to be completely self-sufficient. I won't have a campfire here tonight. I just don't want to create any scarring or mess on the rocks. So it'll be a completely clean camp. There is a really interesting track that runs from this Hellhole Waterhole along the banks of the Severn River in a westerly direction and comes out at the Broadwater camping area. Unfortunately, it's a authorized vehicle only track for national parks. But if you could get a car down there legally, that would be just one sensational drive. Sitting down, enjoying a drink and sunset. Got some leftover Thai in the Travel Buddy, which will be ready in about 20 minutes. And then I'll have a feed. Stunning little campsite. It's called Hellhole Gorge, or Hellhole Pool. On the loop track in Sundown. A little babbling brook to help me go to sleep at night as well. Time to go for a swim. I got the 180 watt solar blanket out, which is putting in about 5 amps at the moment, and up on the roof of the tent is 345 watts, which at the moment putting in about 10 amps. So pretty soon the fridge is going to be on absorption, and with the battery's going to be on absorption with the fridge even running. Now I got to try and get in here without dying because this is super slippery. Not very deep, probably about just above my waist, but feels beautiful. There's a little deeper hole. Now this is pretty cool. When I was swimming in there and climbing on the rocks, there were these larval nymphs everywhere. Now no doubt they're a larval form of some sort of flying insect like a fish fly or a June fly or a June bug or something like that. But I thought it was pretty cool, and there were just thousands of them everywhere on the rocks. If anybody's got an idea of what species these might be, drop me a comment below. I'd be really interested to know. Sun's now fully set over Hellhole. Nothing but the odd cicada singing. Water striders on the Severn. Little minnows in there as well, splashing and carrying on. And the temperature's starting to feel down now. A sneaky breeze has just come through the cam and it's chopped the water up. It's pretty amazing. It's been like a wave that's sort of passed through. And now it's dying off. And you can see the waves dissipating. Just an absolutely stunning spot. You know, to get this sneaky little breeze through here at, what are we, 6 at night?